Hello there. I'm Scotty. Hold on a minute. Go. You're not. It's after midnight, but you know. Who knows? I'm Scotty. You're not. We're getting spooky. Because we're looking at Deadstream. Well, that's kind of shiny. So, yeah, I didn't think of that till now. Deadstream, yeah. So, I know, you think it's Scotty. Did you say you were gonna save this for Halloween Horror Month? Well, I've kind of laid out what I want to do for Halloween Horror Month, and this doesn't fit into it. So I'm like, oh, I could watch this tonight. It was like 10 o'clock at night by the time I decided to watch this. This is 90 minutes. It's directed by Joseph Winter and his wife, who did a segment of VHS 99, which I also have, and I see that Melanie Stone, who plays a character in this movie, this one, is also in that. So I might check that out, and I might review it. I haven't seen any of the other ones, although I don't know if you need to, because they're anthologies. I don't know. But Joseph Winter stars as Sean Ruddy, a disgraced social media influencer who's trying to get back on the straight and narrow path with his videos. He's basically a challenge video YouTuber. They're influencers. Not YouTube, they can't call it YouTube because copyright, but you know, challenge videos. One of his challenge videos didn't do so well. I'm just gonna go ahead and spoil this. We find out later he challenged a bum to a fight because he thought the bum would be stronger than him, but the bum was sick, and he beat the crap out of him, and he got in a lot of trouble for it, I guess. And so they kind of put him out. But now he put out an apology video, which does kind of make fun of the fact that influencers can do stupid shit, and then if they just put out if they just put out an apology video, they can just keep going, you know? I don't think I've ever done anything bad enough. I would never do anything bad enough like that to... You know, you're going to see a light refracting, because I had the sink light on just for ambiance, you know, for this. I could take it off, but I can't see shit now. We'll try this, and if it bugs me, I'll have to put it back on. But so he decides he's gonna stay the night in this haunted house called Death House, is what it's called, where this woman named Mildred Pratt once lived, and there's other people who live there. It's very spooky, and he says that he's got his rules. Okay, I can't. I'm already having problems. He has his rules, and his rules are that if he hears a noise, he has to investigate it, no matter what. He's gonna live stream, and he has to investigate a noise, no matter what. He has to do that. And so, right from the get-go, I'm sitting here watching this, going, "You're an idiot. You are an idiot." And I know they had to write it like this, so that it's one of those things where we have to write stupid shit, him doing stupid shit, so that it plays into a situation later in the film. And he gets there, and he says, "Okay, that's the house. That's what's gonna happen. And I'll explain what happened in the house when we get there." But immediately he goes, he takes out the spark plugs of his car, rolls them into the woods. Now, I understand his whole thing was he wants to do this by himself. And he wants to, you know, because that's the challenge. Because he's scared of ghosts. So he wants to, like he says, "I was raised religious, so I'm afraid of ghosts." And I was sitting there thinking, wait, don't religious people, are they against ghosts? Maybe not. I don't know. I always thought maybe they thought it was blasphemy or something. I don't know. But he's like, okay. So he throws the spark plugs, and he says that's going to stop him from leaving. So I think if there was two people here, it'd be easy that Sean, the more strong-willed one, would keep the plugs, and then Sean would give them to him and say, "Okay, you know." But I don't know. It's just so that he can't leave. But they do something later that is really confusing. So then he goes in and he eventually gets into the house, and then he locks himself in the house. He brought a padlock. How do you know there would be a place for a padlock? That made me scratch my head. I'm like, wait, he brought a padlock. Okay, wait. How did he know there would be a place for a padlock? It just so happens to be one. I don't know. And something with this door is gonna come back because I didn't think of it when something happened. But he gets there. He gets in there. He starts going over the house. He starts placing cameras. He goes to the master bedroom. He places a camera in there, and he says that this belonged to a guy who kept having nightmares of someone standing in a corner and kept saying the pond water is still. And then the guy eventually died in that room. And then he goes upstairs where he mentions Mildred for the first time and says that she hung herself in the hallway just above the stairs. He explains that Mildred's dad built this house for her so that she could find a man, but there was no takers. Eventually, she did find a man, and then he mysteriously died. And then she killed herself, hung herself on the stairs. So he goes to a nursery where he says that 5 children had died. I think it's like 3 babies and 2 children, like older children, died in that room. And then he takes you to the bathroom where he says that someone drowned in the bathtub. And why is it in these haunted house movies that they show there's still water in the tub? Like, I mean, I guess Grave Encounters didn't do that because it was later when they found the blood in there and it attacked TC. But, like, in this, there's a liquid water still in the tub, and I'm thinking, unless it's supernatural, I'm thinking, that would have dried up a long time ago. I don't know. He also investigates one room, which I think they miswrote what this room was supposed to be, because he says this is a room there have been no activity reported, so he calls it the safe room. They could have used that for so much more, as a room where the ghosts and paranormal activity stuff can't get in because, the thing, they just can't get in, And there's something about that room, even if they didn't explain it, why they can't get in, they just can't get in. They don't do that because it's confusing. At least one of the spirits come in. So he's in there, he finds this thing in the closet with a weird marking on it, and he just throws it aside. And he's like, oh, if something bad happens to me, this is going to be the responsible for it. Okay, and he's sort of right. We'll talk about it, but he's sort of right. So he throws that aside and he sets up his base camp and starts to look at things. So he explains that he set up these other cameras and the feed will cut to it whenever something happens. There's a couple times that it does this, and I pause it every time. There's nothing there. Like earlier, when he's downstairs, it cuts to outside, and I'm like, oh, is some? No. And then later, it cuts to the master bedroom. Oh, no, nothing. I'm like, why does it keep cutting? Because they edited that way so they can transition him into doing other stuff. Like, he splices in paranormal footage, like this ghost hunting show where they sent one of their daughters in, and then she doesn't want to go back in because they said it's not my room, she said. Ooh, creepy. Yes. And so in Sean's investigation, he starts to hear noises, and he decides he's going to do these. He's got this wheel of stupid things to do. So he spins it, and it says to a seance. So he goes into, I think, the nursery and finds a little toy. It starts taunting, basically, the ghosts, basically. And that's when shit starts to starts hearing a noise. And he freaks out and destroys that symbol thing. And then he barricades the room he's in, which the door opens to the outside, so wait, it does, but then you don't see that when you see the camera, though. The camera shows opens to the other side, so I don't know, it's really weird. But it opens, and there's a girl there named Chrissy. And immediately I'm like, okay, you destroy that thing, and then she shows up. And then as you watch the when she's talking to him, and when she smiles, I'm thinking, she got a creepy smile. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute. And I grabbed this, and I went, ha! Yes, it's her. So there's something with her. There has to be something with her. I didn't put two and two together. But yeah, she shows up and she says, "Oh, I'm a big fan." And he's like, "Well, how did you know I was here?" She goes, "Oh, I figured it out." And he's like, "Wait, so you drove all the way here and then walked all the way down the road to this house just because you're a fan?" She's like, "Yeah." And she's like, so he interacts with the audience often during this, and they decide to have her stay, which, you know what, you really shouldn't have listened to your audience, but yeah. No. So he decides that they're both going to investigate. He gives her a GoPro, and he has it where he's going down one way and she's going to walk backwards, and he can look at his little iPad and see what's behind her. But as they're walking down the stairs, Kashini suggests, let's go to the master bedroom. And I went, don't listen to her. But he does. And so they go down the stairs, and as he's going down the stairs, her camera starts to fuzz out. When he turns around, she's gone. And he freaks out trying to find her, and then they're downstairs by this point, I guess, and she pops out from another room. She's like, "Oh, I was just trying to scare you." And I went, get out of there. No, there's something with the chick, okay? There's something with her. But they go to, oh, wait a minute. No, I hadn't realized it yet. That's right. It wasn't till after they go downstairs. And I'll explain it. So, yeah, I remembering things. So, I hadn't figured out she's from the back of the thing yet. It was here. So, they go into the master bedroom, and he scolds her like, "Hey!" She goes in that corner where the corner man. He said, "No, that's his corner. Stay out of there." And she kind of gives him a look. And then they go downstairs, and then they go into the closet, and he finds a secret room. And I go, No. She shows up after you destroyed that thing, and now she was the one who said, "Let's go to the master bedroom," and now you find that after she heard something in the closet. Don't go down there. They do. It leads to a little basement area where he finds a chest full of Mildred's clothes, and then a little box, and a little book containing her poems. And when he reads a little bit, he's like, "No, they suck." And she's like, "You should," no, this is later. We should do. Is this where? No. No, it's not yet. And so they go back up. He sees like a mummified dog or something, freaks out, and they go back upstairs. And then she's like, "Oh, we should do the wheel thing." And so when he has her spin it, and it spins and lands in the middle of something, which means they should do both EVP and the spirit board. I don't think they do the EVP, but they do a spirit board. And they're talking, and she's like, "You should go infest." She's like, "Oh, you should read more of the poems." And he's like, "No, they suck." And then she goes, "They don't suck." And I went, "Okay, now I know she's Mildred." And I went, this is when I'm like, I know she's Mildred. And I went, wait a minute, where's the case? Where's the case? And I grabbed it and I went, yeah, that's her. That is her. Oh, that's when it happened. I can't remember things right. Anyway, so they hear a noise, and he decides to send her out. And once again, she goes out, he's watching her. He hears the planchette move, which freaks him out by itself. I forgot to mention, while they're doing this, she says, oh, I know an incantation that will put the spirits of the house at rest. And I went, don't do that. Because she starts saying in Latin. I'm like, you do not read the Latin. Do not repeat the Latin. But he does, and that's where he kind of fucks up. And so she goes to investigate the noise because the people say, well, technically he's still obeying the rule that investigating if she's doing it. He's watching her, and it goes fuzzy again, so he has to go out after her, and she scares him again. And this is where the shit hits the fan. He freaks out, and he's like, and this is where it got me because I didn't think of this. He's like, why do you keep doing that? And where do you keep going? Have you been here before? Wait a minute. I locked the door. Were you already here? And I went, that's right, he did lock the door from the inside. So how did she get in? Through the window upstairs? They were upstairs. I know. That definitely, she's definitely Mildred now. And then she just goes, and then bites him in the freaking neck. He freaks out and grabs his piece of wood and stabs her in the neck. He's like, oh shit, I killed her. By the way, there's a point where he's like, he says shit. He's like, oh no, I don't want to get demonetized. I don't want to get a strike. So he's like, how about I get 3 strikes starting now? But he clearly messes up more than 3 times after this and still says, oh, a strike. He is past 3 strikes by this point. But anyway, he freaks out. He goes back in his safe room. And again, they don't use this safe room enough to say that the ghost can come in because Mildred does eventually come in. But anyway, he goes back in the safe room and he uses duct tape to fix himself up. And he looks out at the camera out there and he sees that her body is gone. So he goes to investigate and he's like, what? No. And all of a sudden he looks at his thing and he sees someone standing in the corner, which is Mildred. And so he says he has to go check it out. I would have stayed in the room. Like, no. But he goes to check it out and decides she's going to try to sneak out, go downstairs. Because they're telling him, Sean, leave. And he goes down. I think this is when he's told by one of the viewers that the thing that he destroyed was a Hamza meant to ward off ghosts, which was working until now he destroyed it. So he's right, that thing is responsible for everything that happens to him now. So he goes to go down, and this is where it's like the only thing of a typical jump scare. He keeps putting his iPad up, and then at one point he does that, and then Mildred is right there and jumps at him. It's literally this right here, and she jumps at him. And not like that. She's just one jump, and she's attacking him, and they both tumble down the stairs. And he decides he has to get out of there. He reaches down in the grave where he put the key, and he finds another key. Not the key that he's looking for, it's a different key. Other than like, not my key, try to find another one. But no, people suggest it's for that little box. He goes, I don't know how that's going to help. When he opens it, he finds a finger, which he doesn't know what it is at first, and a picture of Mildred, which he realizes is Chrissy. Why I hadn't figured out to now, I don't know. And then some kind of paper, I guess. I don't remember what the paper is. Something. I don't know. But he hides behind a chair. He hears the noise, and she's like a ghost walk by. He freaks out, goes up. He finds the rope, grabs the rope, goes upstairs, and ties one. He's in a nursery where there's an open window in the nursery. He ties one end of the rope to the bed and ties the other side around himself, and he's ready to go out the window when he sees something moving on the bed. It's a little child ghost. He runs out to the hallway, but gets snagged by the rope and then just gives up. On that, he runs back to the safe room and hides in the closet again. He does that multiple times. And he decides he's got to do something, and he ends up running back out in the hallway after another scare from Mildred, and jumps out the frickin' window, landing where he breaks his leg, but that doesn't seem to deter him for later parts of the film as he's moving pretty quick. And this is where I went, okay, everything decision that's happening now is just stupid. Just so he can have the final confrontation. Because honestly, he was free and clear here. So he gets out, he goes to the car, but there's no spark plugs. So he goes in the wood to find a spark plug. He finds one, sees the other one. When he goes to reach for it, there's some weird little creature that makes him freak out and run away. Grab the spark plug first. He's like, I bet like, grab it and then run off. But no. And when he runs off, he finds a cop because he said after he stabbed Chrissy, he's like, somebody call the cops. And the guy's standing there and he's like, hey, are you Sean Ruddy? He knows his name, which is not weird because, well, it could be weird, but if someone from the stream called him, you know, then he just starts talking to him. Well, I've been watching you a long time. What? You shouldn't be mean to people. And his voice starts to change. So he kicks the guy in the nuts and knocks him down. He runs back to his car, locks himself in using a Slim Jim, able to meet Cam to look out. And then he uses a potato gun loaded with a bobblehead to subdue this thing. And then looks through Mildred's journal where the poems are. He finds out palm water is still as a line from her poem, and he also finds a little page. So it's here he gets a video from a woman saying, he got you. I think it's before this actually. She got you. Now, saying that the Latin he said was to, basically, she tricked him into saying it so that basically his soul is hers. And then another lady, the lady who did the Hamza, basically tells him, no, you're dead unless you make a new one. And basically tries to tell him how to do it, but she's not specific enough, I don't think. But, and she says this is the important part. She says it'll require a sacrifice of flesh. And so, while looking in the journal, he finds a piece of paper with some stuff on it, which is the ritual that she used to bind herself to the ghosts and the spirits in the house. And so that, she's not trying to create a family like he said. She's trying to create an audience for her poems. I think he figures out after he goes back in the house. He goes back in the house. You see why I have an issue here? He took care of one ghost. If he'd have just decided, he couldn't run, but he would decide to walk out. Just walk, and leave. Just keep walking and go. He would have been safe. Like, he'd have been, I don't know if more creatures would have popped up, but he could have walked off. And, yeah, I don't know. They probably would have done a thing. Even if he did decide, have a smart idea to walk away, they probably would have just have it where something pops in front of him and he runs back to the house anyway. Because we can't have smart characters in a horror film and just walk off, one of the things about Grave Encounters 2, as much as I hate Trevor in that movie and there's some issues, I like the part where it looks like they get out and then it's revealed they're still in the house. I swear there's something crawling on the ceiling. But that would be something if it did something like that. Like, he leaves, he runs, right? And he runs and he finds the nearest house, has someone in there. He knocks on the door, and they're like, you know how late it is? He's like, yes, I know. I was doing a live stream at the death house down the street. That old haunted joint? Yes. Can I use your phone to call the police? Yeah, sure, come in. He goes in, he turns around and shuts the door. When he turns back, he's in the house again. And the door is locked again. Meaning he never actually got out. Could be. I know he's live streaming, so people might say something. Like, hey, you never left, you're just standing there or something. I don't know. If it was just him recording himself. They do this thing at the beginning, though, where it pops up, Sean Ruddy did this live stream and it never came back in this video. It's a recording of what happened. It was live stream recording, whatever. Turns out to be a shirt. They could have done that and said this is a recording of a video he did. I don't know. There's also a way they could have done this ending where it would be kind of a cop out, but I think it would have been interesting. But anyway, so he goes back in the house, right? And he's like, I'm going to take down this bitch with a big cover stick, whatever. And he draws something. We don't see what it is yet. And he lures her out. There's a pretty cool thing where he takes a spear and he puts a GoPro to it. And he's walking around with a you from the end of him. And he sees that there's the corner ghost upstairs. So he stabs at it. And then it turns around and goes after him. And it's a real cool moment where you see that the spear just stab him and it comes back red. I'm like, well, that's a pretty cool effect there. And then he runs back into the room. I don't think, does he take care of him? I don't think so. But he gets back into the safe room again. And then hears, he does have an argument with Mildred. He's like, come and get me. He goes, no, you get me. No, you come and get me. No, opposite. And then runs back into the room. And then he hears noise and she's like, Sean, you really hurt me. You stabbed me pretty good. You really hurt me. And he's like, yeah, right, I don't buy it. And then the light on his camera goes out. And this is where it's pretty interesting because I'm thinking, okay, light's going to come back on and she's going to be right there. But no, he's like, someone I want you to meet. And then it blacks out. And when it comes back on, when light comes back, it's already blacked out by this point. He comes back on, he's in the bathroom, in the tub, and his eyes are glossy. And he's like, it feels good. He's like, the pond water is still like, she's trying to take over his body. But he's able to snap out of it. And this is pretty cool. It becomes very Evil Dead-ish here, where he fights this weird zombie thing and he stabs it in the eye with holy water. Oh, I remember now. He throws garlic at the corner ghost, but it doesn't, the corner man, but it doesn't, I don't think. But anyway, it's 1-1-1 right now. It's 1-1-1 right now. And I know I'm tired. It's late. Gotta get on home. It's late. We've been gone too long. Too bad. By the way, he does say that he got demonetized or a copyright strike for singing the Beach Boys' Surfing USA in one of his videos. From what I've heard, you can't get copyright if you're singing the song, right? Because it's not, if you're singing it and there's no background music, it's just you. Maybe he did use background music, I don't know. But anyway, so he stabs the ghoul thing in the eye, and there's a real cut where it goes to him, it's on that, and then it cuts to him, and this pus goes off in his face, and he doesn't say anything. He sort of looks at the camera like, yep. He gets the stuff off, and he goes to leave, and he ends up luring Chrissy into the room. It's really cool. He stabs her with a cleaver, and she falls back. I'm like, he kills people that are already dead, and like he kills the cop guy. He's not really the cop. He's actually the guy who was having dreams of the corner man that they reveal. But like cleavers are in the head, and unlike the I was calling the cop. She comes back. He puts a GoPro on her, and he calls her the Mill Dead camera. And then we follow that point of view. She kind of Ooga Boogers her way in, like the Grudge Lady or the Ring, and Herky Jerky's her way in. But he duct tapes her on that Hamza and tries to perform the ritual. But, like, he already said he's not going to do the Hamza, but he's already got it set up. And then he reads from this ritual that's not for the Hamza, it's for something else. And during the ritual, he says that he wants to bind them to him. And I went, okay, something's off here. And she starts laughing. She has duct tape over her face. She starts laughing. When he rips the duct tape off, it's all, it's all like prosthetic makeup, scary stuff. And then he does, why it didn't work. And he runs back downstairs. And then decides he's going to... How to get back in? He broke down the door, that's right. He's going to try to leave again, and I'm like, yeah, just leave. Just go. Leave. Get out. No, he decides he's going to stand firm, and he's, sacrifice of flesh. That's what I need to do. And I'm like, no, that was for the Hamza. But he does it, and he does the ritual, and it takes her away. But it turns out that's not what he should have done, because now he's binded all the spirits to him. He's their new mama, as they say. And so he's, like he said earlier, she wanted an audience for her poems. And so she binded all those who die in the house to her so that she has an audience. And now he's done the same to them. End movie. That's it. It has this weird 80s font, and that's how it ends. And I went, wouldn't it be cooler? Almost a cop-out, but even cooler, is if he gets attacked, it says the end, and just before credits start to roll, it cuts back to Sean, and he's like, okay, that worked out great. That was great. All right, that was great. Or even go through the credits, and after the credits are done, it cuts back to them. Okay. Or it shows him being attacked, and his camera falls down and just kind of sits there. You think it's over. And it pops up the end, just over the screen. And then you go, okay, and cut. And it gets real meta, where this was all set up by him. There is a point where people think it's fake. And I'm sorry, this was after they saw the sheriff guy, and they've already identified that Chrissy is Mildred, and the sheriff guy was the guy who saw the corner man. But they now think it's fake? That doesn't make any sense to me. Did he find actors that look just like the people? He didn't know what Mildred looked like. I don't know, but it would have been funny if... It would have been interesting if after it says the end, it cuts, and he's like, okay, and cut. Okay, we did a good job. I think it worked. Surprise! We got you. It's all been a prank. That's right. I got you. This is my new format. It's a prank show, baby. And it shows that Mildred was actually really Chrissy, and the guy was, an actor hired, that sort of thing. And that the pictures that they found were all doctored to make it look... That's how they could have thought, but... Yeah, it would be interesting, And then he actually did his research. He knew that was a Hamza. It was fake. They just put it there, that sort of thing. But, no, everything happened. It's real. It's fine. I actually really liked this movie. I'm going to give it a pretty good. This was one after I got done. I'm like, is this to the moon? Again, sometimes you talk it out, you figure out. Nah, it's pretty good. As high as you can go without going into the moon. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a fun watch. It's got equal parts comedy and scary stuff. This really, there was times that made me jump. Not only did it make me jump, I screamed. Yeah, there was moments where, ah! Like there's a moment where Chrissy pops out. There's a moment where you get the spine tingles. You know what I mean? Like when Chrissy first reveals herself to be evil, she's like, made me creep out, and he does the herky jerky stuff, and like when I mentioned earlier when he's got the iPad up, and even though I knew it was coming, She pops up, ah! And then there's a moment in the closet where he goes to hide from her again. I forget to mention this. And he starts hearing her talk, and he moves the iPad again. She's right there, and she's apologizing for what he did. That's where he reveals the bum situation, and he moves it. And she's on his crotch, and she goes guilty, and it bites his fucking crotch. I went, no, it made me, when you can make me audibly scream. I don't normally do that with movies. Sometimes I'll jump, but like this made me audible scream. You're doing something right, and it's very Evil Dead-esque with some of the stuff, like that whole thing with the face in the crotch. Very Evil Dead, although it wasn't crotch, it was his hand, I think. His arm, I think. Wasn't it the head of, wasn't it like Cheryl's head or something? I think it was Ashley, whatever. But anyway, yeah, it's got a equal parts of Evil Dead and other scary stuff. I think it worked. I can't wait to see what else they do. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on Deadstream? Let me know in the comments. Don't make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one. Woo. Damn it.